Beautiful people, don't forget to put the rice away. That is the theme of today's conversation. Don't forget to put the rice away. So I want to share this moment that I had with my wife last week. If you're on my email list, you'll be getting this story in your inbox. But if you're not, I wanted to share with you here about the story of Put Your Rice Away, a moment that my wife and I had last week. And I'll do some Q&A as well on this live. So if you got some questions, you can throw them in the question box and I'll get to them in a bit. So put the rice away. Well, the other night, as my wife went to bed with our son before I do, which is quite typical of us, she goes to bed and she says, "Simon, don't forget to put the rice away, the rice that she made us for dinner." And I said, "Of course, I've got it." And as soon as I closed the door, the thought of putting the rice away flew out of my head, and I went upstairs and I started working on some things. Fast forward to the next day where I'm usually up early and already doing some coaching calls, and I get a text from my wife with a picture of the rice sitting on the counter that I did not put away and a frown face. And I kind of chuckled to myself, and I walk downstairs and I see her in the kitchen, and she gives this look to me like, mm-hmm. And I look at her and I said, "Fancy some rice for breakfast?" with a smirk on my face. And she half smiles while being slightly annoyed with me. And then I put my arms around her and I said, "I'm sorry, darling. I did not remember to put the rice away. But don't for a second think this means I care any less about you." And I give her a kiss on the cheek. And she looks at me and smiles and she says, "Okay, I forgive you." Now, I'm saying this in this tone because we were so playful with each other, and it may seem like nothing to you, put the rice away, but to me, years ago, that would have incited defensiveness, arguments, distance, blame, all kinds of things. Because older me would have reacted in one of two ways after getting this text that the rice was still on the counter. First way, defensiveness. Well, blaming her that I shouldn't have to remember I've got so many things on my plate and that should be your job and you should do this stuff, and just like anger, defensiveness, even though I didn't do something I promised I would do, as basic as putting the rice away. Or the other version of me would have been super people pleaser. "Oh my God, I did something wrong. Does she still like me? Maybe I ruined this relationship. Oh, she probably thinks I'm stupid. Blah, 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 blah." Worrying. Now fast forward to today, years and years of coaching, working with incredible people and being a relationship coach myself. I'm at a place of security, and we're at a place in our relationship where those things that used to be triggers get to be moments of intimacy and connection and even playfulness, heaven forbid. And why I do this work, why I'm sharing this with you now, is because those moments added up together represent our daily life and altogether represent our whole life. And if we can get those moments in great shape, we have an extraordinary relationship. We've got an extraordinary life. But the challenge for so many of us is those daily things that happen in our life are often mirrors of our past trauma, of our compensation strategies, of our fears, of our anxiety. And to me, this is what relationship coaching is all about. So if you've ever been curious about relationship coaching, I invite you to participate in some of the work that we do. I offer paid discovery calls for people. My team offers complimentary discovery calls for people, and all that can be found in my link in my bio. And we got a new program starting in 2 weeks. The next round of programs starting in 2 weeks. So you got a great opportunity to join us for that. Now, quick plug. I got to plug it here for you guys because I want to get you beyond the content and into the growth work here. Now, so much of what I do is to help people have the courage to share what they're scared to share and have the confidence to be secure in themselves no matter what anybody else is doing. And those are the two things that so easily get screwed with in relationships. Because as soon as we fall for someone, as soon as we put our heart on the line, the risk goes up, the fear goes up, and before you know it, we're starting to control things like crazy. So this is my invitation for you to get out ahead of that challenge. You get support, not have to do it by yourself. One of the biggest things I struggled with years ago was letting people help me, letting people have my back, letting myself learn and discover things from other people. That's my invitation for you with coaching. So if you ever have any curiosity, I invite you to check that out. My DMs are open for questions as well. So let me just answer some questions after I shared that with you guys. If you got some questions, throw them in the question box or in the chat. I'll do some Q&A for a little bit here. But yeah, I love this story because it was like a perfect example to me of how wonderful and terrible relationships can be depending on our state. You know, just like the way my relationship with my wife now, I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of who we are now. And we've been through shit together. We've been through some big challenges. And what I notice so much in my coaching is there's people who like really love each other. Like the chemistry and love is there. Like it's actually there. It's just, there's this block between the two of us. There's this like wall of defensiveness or fear, frustration, anxiety, avoidance that keeps that love at bay. But it's right there to be unlocked. The challenge is so many of us are hoping someone else will be the ones to be unlocking it, or someone else will be perfect, or someone else, rather than going, okay, what is there for me to discover? What are my blind spots in my relationships? So, of course, that is the invitation for all my content and for my coaching. So really invite you to participate in that. So let me scroll around here and let me answer some questions. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for being open to personal development and growth in relationships. You know, I believe this is the most important area of life. You know, someone raising their hand to defensive. Yeah, that was my go-to for the longest time. Still is sometimes. See, here's the thing. It's not about being perfect. It's about how quickly can we get ourselves unstuck. We're going to get stuck in life. That's just inevitable. But is that a place that we live? Is defensiveness happening every single day? Is it happening every single hour? Or is it that thing that's happened to me once in a while for a few minutes and I'm so great at getting my power back? That's what I'm interested in. So let's answer some of your questions. Let me scroll here. It says there's 2 questions, but they're not loading. So if you got some questions, just throw them in the question box. I'm just scrolling right now to find some people. And we'll go from there. And if nobody has any questions, then no worries. Someone wrote in the chat, Uncle Ben. No, it wasn't Uncle Ben Rice. Some other brand that I can't recollect right now. But if you don't have any questions, I'll hop off. But this is a great chance to ask any questions you have, and I'd be happy to support you with anything to do with relationship coaching, a challenge you're in right now, whatever's going on. Hi from Houston. Hello, Houston. From around the world. I just did a call 6 of my Love Affair program with the Europe group. I say Europe group because it's in the European time zone, but we got people from Hong Kong, Germany, London, Italy, and Abu Dhabi, I think. So freaking cool. And here's the cool thing. All those people from all over the place still dealing with the same kinds of relationship challenges. It's not unique to culture. It's not unique to location. It's being human. Someone asked, what if you forget about the rice because you went to play video games instead and it wasn't just rice, if you know what I mean? Well, then you got an opportunity to own up to something and possibly create a new structure for what works for the both of you. Someone has a question here. How did you get to eliminate the fear of defensiveness? Really great. So I actually don't see it as a form of eliminating the fear of defensiveness. I'm scared every day. There's tons of things I'm scared of. What my work is all about is helping people become more powerful than their fear. You know, my program is literally called Love Over Fear, which what I mean by that is having the skill and ability to choose love in the face of fear. So if you care deeply about someone and your relationship and the quality of your relationship with them, you're going to have fears. Maybe your fears are, will they love me the same way I love them? Will they leave me? What if they find out this thing about me? Will it cause them to run away? And so just eliminating that fear is pretty tall order. So instead, what I look to train people in is to recognize the fear, to actually own it. This is what I'm scared of. And to what degree can I be courageous in the face of that fear? And maybe that looks like me being playful in a moment where I would normally be defensive. Maybe it looks like me pausing. Maybe if your defensiveness is your go-to, maybe I don't know how to solve this challenge. And because I'm embarrassed, I go to defensiveness. So what if I don't know how to solve this challenge and I could just not go to defensiveness and just pause, which might be like a huge breakthrough, by the way, to say nothing. That's something I was working on a lot and continue to work on. When I got nothing valuable to say, can I shut up? For those of you that get into arguments and don't know when to stop talking, that's been me before. Just digging the hole deeper. More things I got to apologize for later. And it's like, okay, maybe my win is, can I pause here? So, it's taken work. It's taken definitely work. The work doesn't have to be hard, but it takes courage for sure. But for me, it's been relationship coaching and different coaching programs. Someone asked the question, how can I be less? I don't know what that means. Do you mean less defensive? Feel free to elaborate on that one. Sorry about that. It's my cat going crazy right now. How can you feel comfortable in relationships when people keep testing you and want to argue with you when I just try to have a conversation? Interesting. Okay. Well, my first question goes, if someone's testing you, and I'm curious what you mean by testing you, like if someone's testing what you say or trying to argue with you, an argument only works to the degree that you keep arguing. Okay, so I'm pretty difficult to argue with because I don't have a lot of resistance to the topic that someone's arguing with me about. So if someone was testing me, my question goes to, well, how am I participating in them testing you? So if they're testing you, the question for you is check in with to where's the line that you want to stop at or that you want to disengage in that you're not. If you look at that and start to engage in that, you're going to have some power. So see if you can identify to what degree you're participating in that, because there's an opportunity for you to interrupt this, regardless of what they're doing. I strongly live by the principle that we get what we put up with. So if someone's arguing with us all the time, if someone's yelling at us, if someone's being rude to us, whatever it is, we want to look at, okay, there's some way that I've made this a green light to allow this behavior. How can I either remove myself from the situation or interrupt it, draw my line in the sand? And that might not be obvious, but I invite you to start engaging with that question and see what you can discover. Scrolling. So I wanted my guy to stop gaming and come lay down with me for a little while before I had to go to work. He got angry and said I was treating him like a puppet, wanting him to live only to serve me. Okay, I think I didn't hear a question there. Was there a follow-up maybe you're putting? Let me see if I can find your follow-up. Someone asked, how can you help an avoid? I think you meant help an avoidant. That's a tough one. I would actually recommend not trying to help them. One of the challenges about trying to help people is, did they even ask for your help? So I don't coach anyone who doesn't want to be coached. I used to do that. I used to try to force coaching onto people. Highly ineffective and uncomfortable. So often when I'm working with someone, even if they've signed up for coaching, I'm going to ask them, are you ready for the coaching? Because the permission aspect is so important. So when you go like, how can I help this person? The question for me to you is, well, did they even ask for help? Because if they didn't, then I wouldn't even try to help them whatsoever if they're not open to it. Otherwise, you're just going to cram resistance. And for a person who's got an avoidant attachment, resistance leads to more resistance or more avoidance. So that's where you actually want to not try to help them. If anything, you want to get curious to see what they're open to, what kind of support that they're actually looking for, open to. And then there might be a doorway for you to make a difference. You're one of the most helpful relationship Instagram coaches. Thank you so much. What you said just rang so true. Thank you. That's really nice. Thank you very much for sharing that. It's wonderful to hear. I know I have a huge following, so people assume, the credit is automatic, but it's always wonderful to hear, the impact that I'm having on people. So thank you so much for that. And that impact, to reflect it back to you, is only equivalent to the degree that you take it on. So the fact that so many people are watching my content, participating in it, learning something from it is a reflection of you. And it's really cool. I look at this like this beautiful circle. So you all inspire me big time. Me and my ex met up, and he wouldn't look me in the eye. He said it was because he's scared to reconnect and has too many feelings. I'm confused. Okay. My question to you is, what are you confused about? He's scared to reconnect and has too many feelings. So what's your confusion? And more bigger than that, what's your intention of meeting up with your ex? So this is a question I think so many of us don't engage with, okay, based on our choices in our relationships. Often haphazardly emotional choices, which is human. I got no judgment about it. And, when people are connecting with their exes or not, creating clear boundaries, my question is always, what's your intention? What's your bigger goal here? Is your bigger goal a loving, committed relationship? Is your bigger goal to start a family? Okay. Is this action in line with that intention? You'll start to get really clear about what there is to participate in and what there isn't. That to me is what relationship coaching is all about. Helping you get really clear about what your intentions are and providing you with a pathway that fulfills on those intentions. That's what we're here to support you with, never to tell you what to do. So again, shameless plug. You don't have to stop at the content. You can get yourself some coaching. You can get yourself support. You can do a paid discovery call with me. You can do a complimentary discovery call with two of the amazing coaches on my team. Lots of different ways to participate in my program and what we do here. Let's scroll. Let's do a couple more, and then we'll log off as I've got a baby and a wife to tuck in. How to stop insecurity, making me fear the relationship has ended when how I'm treated fluctuates. Yeah, I get that insecurity. It's kind of like what we were talking about in my rice example of how easy to be like, oh my God, does this person not like me anymore? If I messed up, if I ruined the relationship. So that's within yourself, right? So really good job recognizing it's insecurity over here. Okay, so if it's insecurity over here, then let's look. I'm questioning where I fit in this person's life if the treatment is fluctuating. And so I would get curious with you about what is it that has you start to question things? What's actually happening? Is it how they're greeting you? Is it how they text? Like what actually changes? Okay? And see is that actually happening or how much of it is an imagined fluctuation? Okay, I talk about this in my program about the difference between what's actually happening in our life and the meaning or story we're adding to what's happening. And I like to use this example of, my wife. To me, it's always something to do, right? Put the rice away or take out the garbage. Now, in the past, my mom used to tell me all the kinds of things before I left the house, whether I was 12 years old or 16 or 28. Don't forget your coat. Don't forget this. And I used to get so irritated. I'd be like, do you think I'm stupid? I'm a grown-up. I'm a self-employed, entrepreneurial, highly intelligent person. I don't need you to remember to grab my scarf. Apparently, I do need the help to remember to put the rice away. But I would get defensive because I thought she was thinking I'm stupid. She was just saying, don't forget your scarf. That's what was happening. The meaning I was adding to it was I'm stupid and incapable. So if that's the story I'm in, of course I'm going to get defensive. But for most of us, our insecurities are not based in reality. They're based in what we're adding to what's happening. And until we can differentiate those two things, make them separate, this thing is going to own us. It's going to take our power away every single time it causes us to be insecure. So your practice here, I support people in depth in relationship coaching. This is a big ask for you in just a question, comment kind of scenario. But the invitation for you is to see if you can distinguish from what's happening to what you're adding to what's happening. And that's going to help open a door to be more present in your relationship. So love the question, love your intention to being secure. My God, when we can be secure, it just changes the whole game. We start to see so much more opportunities for love and affection and freedom. And when we're insecure, it's so easy to see depths of torture. So it's a really beautiful thing to be open to working on. Someone says, thank you for what you do. It's helped me see some of the things I do and need to change in my relationship. My pleasure. Thank you for being open to that. Hello from Qatar and Western Australia. Hello from Malaysia. Anxious attachment in a secure relationship for the first time. How can I be more present? Yeah, really great. It's going to take practice. You got anxious attachment. You're going to be looking for evidence of why this person might be pulling away. Okay? And some of their secure behavior that is lacking drama might seem like they're pulling away, but in fact is just simply lacking drama, which as a recovering anxious attacher, we can be addicted to that drama. And so when things are more neutral, you're going to want to start some problems. And so your job is to sit in the peace, to see if you can recognize your moments of wanting to stir things up that aren't even there, and see if you can be with the ease. You know, part of my invitation, why I do this work, is to open up to the idea of people that things can be easy. That if we can allow things to work for us, our life gets really good, really fast. But mostly the thing that's locking us up from what we want in life is our resistance to it being easy. We like drama, we like chaos, we thrive off of pain and challenge because we're used to it. Even if it's stressful and exhausting, we're still used to it. And every human being likes the familiar. Even if the familiar is brutal, it's still familiar, which means it's predictable. And to take on something new, like a peaceful, loving relationship, feels unfamiliar and uncertain, thus causing us to trip ourselves up. So you'll probably see a few opportunities this week to want to start some challenges, see if you can be in the peace of this relationship. Hello from Dublin, Ireland. That's freaking cool. I love seeing all the different places people are calling in from. All right, you amazing human beings. Let's see, we got a couple more here. Can you realize that someone doesn't have the same basic living habits as you, and the intimacy is gone because of the difference? Do you power through? I would get curious about the specifics here. Okay, I mean, my wife and I had totally different living habits when we moved again. She is way more clean than I am. She would admit borderline OCD. And she's helped me become a lot cleaner, which I so appreciate. It's way better to be clean than to be not clean in my perspective now. But I was just lazy a lot of the times. What are some of the other things that are different? How we do laundry, when we like, just different lifestyle things, when we like to eat. You know, a lot of those things were different. So part of when you live with your partner, you know, it's an extraordinary thing because things are inevitably, there's going to be some clash. You know, what time you go to bed, you know, how you spend your time. Are you watching TV during certain things? Are you not watching any TV? Like all these different things that are going on. And this to me is always an opportunity to learn to negotiate with each other. And so if you don't have the same basic living habits together, then my invitation for you is, this is an opportunity to practice negotiating for each other to find common ground. And that might not take one conversation. It might take multiple conversations. It might take a new habit for both of you that you're both not used to, that you're both going to mess up multiple times in a row. Can you still play the game? Can you still be on the same team together? That to me is what's going to make an extraordinary relationship, or not. Or it'll have you guys separate, and that might be what's best too. But I really invite the opportunity for negotiation. I think I'm going to be creating a course next year on this because I think it's just not taught at all, of like how to work together when you have opposing views. And to me, that's what can make the best relationship ever, or just absolute torture. So I love the question. I wouldn't say power through. I would say see what you can negotiate with each other. You know, and I notice I use the word negotiate, not manipulate, not control, not force, not ultimatum. Negotiate. All right, you guys, you're so great. Thank you guys so much for the questions. Someone says here, I've had to learn to laugh at myself. I'm not perfect. It helps with the defensiveness. Yeah. You guys, one of the best things we can discover about ourselves is that we're not terrible, but we're also not awesome either. You know what I mean by that is, like, I recognize I can be an amazing partner, and my wife can be an amazing partner. And I also can be a huge pain in the ass. And she can be a huge pain in the ass. And that's just part of being human. And when we can like own that, oh yeah, you know, I'm lucky to be with her and she's lucky to be with me. But also, I'm not the easiest person all the time. It's like a humbling thing. It's really humbling, and it lets us relieve the pressure of trying to be perfect, trying to have it all together all the time. Nobody does, you guys. Nobody does. And if we can, you know, laugh at ourselves and take a moment like forgetting to put the rice away as a playful experience, change the trajectory of that moment, that day, your life. This shit adds together. You guys are so cool. Let's see here. There's questions flooding in now. I'm sorry I can't get to all of them here. But when someone lets you go because of an argument, even though you get on really well, he's an avoidant and won't let me connect with him now, even though I've apologized. One of the challenges of being with someone who has an avoidant attachment is you trying to fight too hard with them is going to push them away further. You know, and part of working on you not being in that avoidant anxious cycle is knowing when to just throw your hands up and stop resisting. Like stop resisting their resistance. You know, I've always wanted to optimize my relationship. And one of the best gifts to my relationship, and I would say life in general, is acknowledging that there's nothing that my wife has to change. There might be things I want to improve in our relationship, but actually letting go of my resistance to who my wife is, actually like seeing her for who she is, not trying to change anything. I spent like the first year of our life trying to change things about her. You can imagine how that went. As also a recovering anxious attacher and a recovering avoidant attacher. So, you know, there's something here for you to let go of, I would say, rather than to try to make happen. That's what I see. All right, last one. I was resistant, told my avoidant, just want to be friends. Oh, sorry, I misread that. I recently told my avoidant, just want to be friends. That's weird, you guys. By the way, I think it's funny how you guys are like, my avoidant. Like, that's like... my anxious, my thing. Recently told my avoidant, just want to be friends. Told him I'm not okay with that. Asked him to stop calling. It's been a few months and I miss him. Should I reach out or resist? I love that question, okay? So often we reach out to people that we don't think are a fit for us because we miss them. And so what are we reaching out for? You're reaching out because of a feeling of disconnection, loneliness, inadequacy. That's not a great state to create connection from. That's not an empowering state, right? You can see that. I'm reaching out because I miss this person. Not because I've discovered how much I love them. Not because we've had a breakthrough in how we can be together. Simply because I miss them. I miss this void here. It's one of the many reasons why people who have breakups get back together with their ex and then just break up all over again because they didn't deal with the problem of the relationship. They just started to miss each other and then reconnected without actually making the breakthrough. So I would invite you to not reach out if it's just because you miss them. If there is a breakthrough in how you're going to be together and you're going to start a new kind of relationship together, hell yeah, reach out. But if it's just because you miss that person and you're not okay with how they've been, then nothing's changed. And so if you're going to reach out, be ready for the exact same thing to happen again. All right? And just ask yourself, are you fed up enough with feeling like this? You know, I've been through some brutal breakups. My first really tough breakup is what sparked me getting a relationship coach myself. And it was because I couldn't be with this feeling of my cat. Oh my God. I couldn't be with this feeling of loneliness, of that discomfort of missing the persons. And so I would reach out. I would find out what they're doing. I would look on Instagram, all this stuff. And it was just torture. Like it hurt so much every time I did that. I felt sick. And then I was like embarrassed for doing it. And what all those actions were just me trying not to feel the pain I was feeling. That loss. And so a real practice in personal development is letting yourself feel what there is to feel without trying to change it, without trying to fix it. You feel lonely right now. You feel sad right now. I invite you to consider that that isn't something to fix. It's just how you feel. And it's understandable that you feel that way because someone you deeply cared about is no longer in your life. You're grieving that person. And so you want to let yourself grieve that person. Not forever, not permanently, but you want to let yourself feel what there is to feel. Otherwise, that feeling is going to own you. And rather than you dictating how your life goes, those emotions are going to run the show and you're not going to have power. So you've got a beautiful opportunity here. I know it feels very difficult. I know it feels very challenging, but I really invite you to sit with what you're feeling rather than being led by like there's a thing like a gap to fill here. Okay, so thank you so much. What a fantastic question to finish on. You guys are amazing. Again, shameless plug here. If you're curious about relationship coaching, if you want to take your support to a whole new level, you want to attract in the partner you want to spend your life with, you want to free yourself from past trauma and breakups, you want to be the designer and influencer of all your relationships, sign up for a discovery call with myself or my team. Make the change. You can do it anytime you want. Let it be now. I'll be here sending out more content for you guys every day. So sending you guys love and thank you so much for your participation. Thank you for who you are as someone looking to develop themselves in this beautiful area of relationships. See you soon. Bye.